Hi fellow YouTubers, with a special shout out to our new subscribers. This video was not planned. Just happened to wake up this morning and find out that I had a check engine light on my car. Now believe it or not, this was a subject I had to study when I was earning my PE license. It's actually an embedded computer within the car system, and it does a lot of things, but it's just dedicated to that purpose. Hopefully you'll learn something new here, and you'll learn how to clear it out if you ran into a situation like I did. Okay, this is what I was facing today when I came out to start my car and run my errands on this day off. As you can see, I have that annoying little indicator that indicates a check engine. I went out, not only get the cameras, but I also got my code reader from Autel. It's a fairly good one. It's middle of the road. It's not the cheapest and it's not the most expensive, but it gets the job done. I have to connect this 15-pin cable here before this will work. And then of course I have to turn my car off. So let me do that. Then to connect it, I gotta come up under the dashboard here. And I gotta see where this plugs in. I don't think I ever used this reader on this particular car yet. Fairly new. So what do we got here underneath? Oh, there it is. Quite obvious right here, this white connector. So I've got to connect this up to the white connector. Is it oriented right? Yeah, it looks that way. Plug this in, and like I've seen it do before, it automatically comes up into its power. Now I'm not going to be able to scan it again until I start the car again. Indicator's still there. I want to do the OBD code. It's already set on that. Hit OK. And it's going to try to connect to my car's computer. Tries different protocols as I recall. And of course it says there's a milstat. And there's two different modules in here. Sometimes there's a separate one for the engine and the transmission. Let me just, doesn't identify it right now. Let me just check the first one and see what it says. Let me read any codes it has. The first one is, just to show you, it's kind of hard to see here, put the arrow down, is any stored codes. Those are permanent codes that really caused a fault. Click that. P0456. That is the code for the evaporator emission system. Leak detector says very small leak. Now I don't have the particular unit here that can give me more details than that, but what we have these days is the computer. So even a cheaper one than this, just that gave me the code P0456, would have been sufficient to run over to the computer and see what was going on. So with that, let me turn the car off now. And what I'll do is I will disconnect the scanner just so it doesn't keep drawing my battery. Let me go inside and check on the computer. Okay, let's use Google here and look for these codes. So it's wrong spelling. It's On Board Diagnostic OBD-II codes, and I want P0456 and see what that comes up. And we have a code, small leak detector. The evaporator system is designed to prevent fuel vapors from escaping into the atmosphere. They're captured and stored. There's a charcoal canister that stores this. There's a purge solenoid and valve. 0456. What are some of the things that cause it? A leaking evap hose, a problem with the purge valve, a loose or faulty gas cap. That's an interesting one. So that's actually, start with the simplest. Let me go out now and see if the gas cap is good. Okay, back to my car. Let's get a first pop. The little switch down here for the gas. Holy, look at that. Completely out. That must be from last weekend when I got the car filled at a full service gas station in New Jersey. You're not allowed to do your own there. You're forced to use full service. That's probably the whole problem, but we'll find out. Well, now I got this code. I got to clear this out. And that's potentially a challenge. My inspection is expiring tomorrow. I have set up an appointment. Still on. It won't clear up right away. It would clear out probably, they don't tell you the exact number, but anywhere between 30 and 50 times you start the car once a problem is gone. Because it does a double check to see if there's any new codes. It keeps track of, I think, the last two. And if there's not, then it clears it out. But as you can see, this is not going to happen by tomorrow. 50 starts. You know, I don't want to ruin my starter. And it probably won't necessarily work either, because I think I'm going to drive it a little bit between each. So, well, I got a problem here, because a couple of problems. If I'm going to try to clear it by driving it, one thing I brought in with me was this. I made this a few years back when I was studying the onboard computers that the cars have. I needed to do that in order to answer a question, believe it or not, for the professional engineering test sample that I was running. So I went through and did some study on this, and supposedly this is the most common cycle that will clear it out. And basically it's got to run all of the tests, and I think there's like a dozen different tests that have to be run, and it will only do that you do certain activities. And I've drawn them out on this chart here. What I have to do now is turn the car off again. Okay, I've reconnected the scanner, so now I'm going to turn the car back on, and I'll have to be able to clear the code. I cannot run it though, so I got to put it in a state that's on, but not with the car engine running. So let me go ahead and clear this out. And we do that by first going back in to the ODP. It's already in there. Let it connect up. It should connect up, yeah. Milstat is on. Identify this code, the first one, and the second choice here is to erase codes. So I'll go down to erase codes, hit OK. It's double checking with me, yes. It is now erasing the codes. Codes erase done. But look now, this light has changed from red to yellow. And what that means is I would not be able to pass my inspection test tomorrow. There is no more Milstat code, or it will be a red arrow. But there is a fact that tests have now not been run, a bunch of them. Now I'm going to this one here, the ready test. This particular unit from Autel, it has this option to tell you how ready you are to pass an inspection. So I go over to that one. See those red X's under various tests? That means that those tests will have to be run. Here's the fuel test, of course, the evap test, the oxygen sensor test, and the catalytic converter, and the EGR. But unless they're all checked, like we see here for the HRT, they will not pass the test by the state. So I got to try to clear those out. Alright, let me turn the car off again completely. Let me disconnect the scanner. I'll be putting it back on again. Now the first thing I'll have to do is go and get some gas. One of the problems they have is I don't have at least 3/4 of a tank of gas. I'm down to less than half. And that causes problems with clearing out and having some of these tests run. So the first thing I'll do is I'll turn the camera off for this and I'll go get some gas. Okay, I've added gas, and now I'm going to do the first step in this sequence. It's an 8-step sequence I have to follow. The first one is to turn it on and to let it idle for 5 to 8 minutes. Now I'm going to go onto this parkway that's near my house. Allow me to do these things with the least amount of traffic. Get on the parkway. Next thing that I have to do in step 2 is I've got to, at half throttle, I've got to accelerate to 55 miles an hour. I am there. Turn cruise control on and stay at 55. I have to do this at 55. That's step number 3 for 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 55 miles an hour. This is a seldom used highway during the day, on a weekday like it is today. It's 1 minute. After 3 minutes of this, I gotta coast down to 20 miles an hour, which means I can't touch either the gas pedal, or if I had a clutch, if this was manual, the clutch. So I'll just turn off the cruise control and let it coast down to 20. I'll turn my emergency lights on, just in case somebody's behind me and wondering what's going on. Okay, that's 2 minutes. Another minute and I can start coasting down. I'll get an extra 30 seconds beyond that, just in case I started a little bit off. 55. I just want to look to make sure that there's no trouble light popping back on. I don't see that happening. If it was a persistent problem, which I doubt that's the case because I actually found something that was wrong, and then I'd have to account for that possibly coming right back on again. Okay, we're at 27. That's 3 minutes. I'm going to wait till we get past this next road where I think traffic will die down even further. And when that happens, then I'll start to coast down. Turn on my emergency blinker. And I'll turn off. They're actually going uphill, which is good at this point. I want to coast this down to 20 miles an hour. Cars behind me should get the message and start to shift lanes. This is perfect because I'm going uphill, so it'll coast down a little bit quicker. Now you can use the emergency brake on most cars because the emergency brake is generally not connected to the computer. It doesn't know when you pulled it. Although a light sometimes does come on the panel to indicate that you do have it on. It may even beep at you. And I'm down to 20. We go a little bit further. I'll start accelerating again. At this point, I got to accelerate at 3/4 throttle. So I'll give it a little more gas, up to 60 miles an hour. So I'm at 60 and I accelerated. Let me turn this on. Set it to 62 approximately, and I've got to coast at 60 for 5 minutes. And now we're going to hit some real desolate spot of this road. Nobody's going to the beach today. Although it's a nice day, I don't think it's beach weather. cruise control will keep it at the speed. Cars have dwindled down quite a bit, which is why I like using this road when I have to do this. This is maybe the fourth or fifth time I've had to do this at various cars. I get it a little bit closer to 60 so the police don't get riled. Okay, so I'm going at 60 now. Let me see if I can stay at this for 5 minutes. 37 now. Okay. 42. 30 more seconds and I think I'm good. Then I gotta coast down to 10 miles an hour. Okay, we are at 43. Let me turn off the cruise control. Now the exit ramp that I like to use on this happens to be uphill, which works out pretty good. I usually wind up having to use my emergency brake. I hope that works on this car. I've done it on other cars using the emergency brake and it has not messed up the test. 1 mile. That's the exit ramp I like. Okay. Turn the emergency brakes on and start to cruise it down. Going off the road here a little bit just to let it come down to a stop without touching anything. Okay, let me turn off the emergency things and get back on the road. Did a little too soon, so let me try it with the exit ramp that I like. Let's see if that happens. No, I'm going too fast, this one. Let me try the emergency brake. Give me an indicator, and it's beeping at me, but it is slowing down. And stop. So that's the cycle. Let's see what happens here, if that's enough. Okay, next day now. Let's see how this worked out for us. Let me plug in the scanner cable. Doesn't know where it is now, I just have to reach down and get it. So power should be on at this point. Yes, it is. Let me start the car. So what I'll do is I'll go right to the ready test. Connecting. Beautiful, beautiful. Everything passes. 2 of them don't apply. There's an airbag test and a HCAT test that don't apply to my computer, so those are the black ones. But all the other ones are green, or 0 in the case of the actual code counters. So we're good. Ready for inspection. Okay, next stop, inspection station. I wonder if they'll let me film them hooking the computer up as part of the inspection. I'll have to wait to see when I get there whether or not they let me do that or not. They're not my first choice for a place to do anything with my car, but inspections should be a little bit better. They go inside and ask. Well, fellow YouTubers, I hope you got something out of this video today. As I said earlier, it was not planned, but I decided it was worthwhile filming. If you learned something from it, or at least found it interesting, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. Easy to do, doesn't cost anything, and you'll only be disturbed if you choose to get notifications, and even they aren't that bad. The little picture of my head that's going to appear here, just click on that. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.